people. Why haven't I made this video before? 8 years I've been here and someone had to request this video. I saw that request and I was like, oh yeah, why have I never spoken about that? Because I'm a dummy. That's why. So it's June. Just joking, it's May. And it's about that time when people are scrambling and getting ready to come on over to teach in Korea in August. So considering that it's May, it means that you've probably already slaved away on the application form for about 1,507 hours, and by now you have finally completed that bloody thesis of an application and you've sent it to EPIK to review. It was probably a couple of days later or probably a week later even when EPIK finally sent you that email to schedule an interview. And if they sent you that email to schedule an interview, well, congratulations! 생일 축하. Wait, that's the wrong thing. 축하해! No pressure, but don't mess up that interview. But Sam, did you say no pressure? Now I'm pooping my pants. But guys, that is why I'm here. I'm here for you. As Britney Spears once famously said, so if you're one of those people getting ready to come on over to teach English in Korea in August and you're about to get ready for your EPIK interview, you better keep on watching because I'm gonna give you my tips and my tricks for the EPIK interview. But Sam, you're so kind. You're so what? I know. So firstly, the interview dress code. Now, I did this interview about 5 centuries ago, and if things are still the same, it means that this interview is a Skype interview or some sort of online interview. But even though it's a Skype interview, it doesn't make things different. You should dress your top half at least as if it's an in-person interview. I say at least your top half because, you know, it's Skype, so they're not gonna make you stand and like show them your entire body. You're gonna be seated. So like if you want to like continue wearing your pajama pants, wear your pajama pants. No one's gonna know. It's our little secret. But at least your top half, dress it as if you're wow, that is a mouthful. As if you're in an in-person interview. I don't know, wear a blazer, brush your hair. Don't look like a troglodyte is what I'm trying to say. Right, the interview. Now, if I remember correctly, the interview is about 30 minutes long. If that sounds long to you, that's because it is a bloody long time. Well, it felt like a long time to me. 30 minutes, half an hour. Dude, 30 minutes is a long time for your nerves to go through such trauma. I just realized I'm making this interview sound very scary. It's not that scary. It's a little scary, but not that scary. I would suggest keep a glass of water with you at the interview just because your nerves, it like tends to keep your throat dry all the time. I don't know, like maybe it's just me who's just thirsty all the time. In more ways than one. I'm joking. Gosh, what's wrong with you? Oh, and another thing is, when you do your interview, wherever you are, keep your background clean and quiet. Just make sure that there are no like moving distractions all the time. Make sure people aren't going in and out. Make sure it's not noisy. I'll never forget when I did one of my interviews back in 1896. Some people live on a farm, you know, so some people have like -1G internet on the farm, and so some people can't have a Skype call for more than 3 minutes without losing the connection. So some people had to go to bloody Postnet at 8 AM. No jokes. I had to make Postnet open especially for me because Postnet only opens at 8:30. So they had to open especially for me at 8 AM. And then of course, people are coming into Postnet to do all their Postnet-y things. And so people are walking in and out of Postnet. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mr. Interview Man. But actually, it turned out quite well because I explained my situation and then he was like, actually, I'm so impressed that you went through all this effort to do this interview. And I was like, okay, so the interview. The interview is basically divided into 3 stages, if you will. The first stage is very basic. They basically go through your application and they just go through all your personal details just to confirm everything with you. And sometimes, this happened to me once, they made me make some changes on my application. So I suggest you should really keep a copy of your application with you so that you're able to follow with them when they're going through your application. That's already stage 1 done. Wow, amazing. Stage 2, the actual interview. Now, in my opinion, one of the reasons behind this EPIK interview is to see what you are like as a person, to gauge you as a person, and to see if you are a good fit for this teaching in Korea experience. Remember that potentially you are going away. You are leaving mommy and daddy and your pet dog Spot for 1 whole year. You're going to another country, to another continent, to another culture, to another everything for 1 whole year. So EPIK needs to make sure that you are the type of person who is able to do that for 1 whole year. Another reason I think they do this interview, in my humble opinion, is to gauge how you speak. Don't forget that they are interviewing you for an ESL teacher post. So because you are going to be teaching English to a bunch of kids who are learning English as a second, sometimes third language, they need to see that your voice carries, that you speak clearly, that you enunciate your words. They need to see whether second language speakers will be able to understand you without a problem. And I'm telling you, the interviewer is checking for all of that. Okay, questions. It is very likely that they will ask you about your location preference and whether you are going to be flexible with your location preference. Because I'm telling you now, I feel like the spokesperson for EPIK. I'm really not. I'm not even with EPIK. I'm telling you, EPIK cannot guarantee your location preference in Korea. Even if you've written down 5 preferences, they can't guarantee you any of them. So you ultimately need to be flexible to be located anywhere. And take it from me, anywhere that you are placed in Korea will be an adventure. So don't worry about that. Another thing they might ask you about is medical issues. If you've got very specific medical issues, you probably put that on your application form. They're going to ask you about that, especially if it's like more serious. They're probably going to ask you just to see how you plan to cope with those while living in Korea, and if it's something that will be an obstacle for you living in Korea. Yeah, so they just basically want to see how you will manage. On that note, if you have any like dietary restrictions, they are definitely going to ask you about that. You may or may not know that Korea's cuisine is incredibly heavily meat-based. So if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, Korean people, they are really going to worry about you, and they're gonna ask you about 100 times a day, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because they don't even understand the concept of a vegetarian. They definitely don't understand vegans. They're definitely gonna ask like if you're okay with like cooking for yourself and sorting yourself out, and whether you'll be able to survive in Korea, in a country whose cuisine is incredibly meat heavy. They'll probably also ask you if you're okay with spicy food, because Koreans for some reason think that they invented spice, and they seem to think that no one else can eat spicy food. If they just see that you're a foreigner, they'll be like so worried, because they think that because you're foreign, you can't eat spicy food. Sometimes I'm just like, bruh, I'm Indian. They will definitely ask you about your degree, especially if your degree is not related to teaching, like some people. If your degree is not related to teaching, they will probably ask you why you are no longer doing that, why you suddenly changed to teaching. In my case, I just told them the truth. I told them that I fell out of love with journalism. I still love writing, but the good thing about writing is you can do it wherever you are in the world. Just be prepared to like answer why you've abandoned your field and gone the teaching route. Definitely they will ask you about your teaching philosophy, which you've probably already answered in your application, so just make sure that your answer correlates with your answer in your application. What do you want to achieve as a teacher? What do you want your students to achieve? What kind of learning environment do you want to create? And how will you achieve the best learning environment for your second language speakers? They will probably ask you why Korea. Of course they're gonna ask you this question. I'm sure you know you can teach English in Japan, you can teach English in Vietnam, you can teach English in China, you can teach English in Taiwan, but you've chosen to teach English in Korea. So why Korea specifically? My suggestion to you is show an interest in Korea. They want to see that you are showing an interest in Korea, show an interest in learning the language, in appreciating the culture. After all, you're going to be living there for a whole year, and it's best to integrate yourself, immerse yourself as much as you can into society. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I'm on my knees here. Okay, literally, I'm not on my knees, but figuratively, I am on my knees, guys. Do not speak about money. Do not speak about money. I don't care if that's your top priority. I don't care. No one cares. Do not speak about it. Promise? Good. They might ask you what difficulties you think you will face as an expat in Korea and how you plan to overcome those difficulties. I think this gives them an idea of your problem-solving skills, your coping abilities, and your ability to like compromise in a situation where there's a bit of a culture clash. One of the interviews I did back in like 1796, they gave me co-teacher scenarios. They asked me how I would react in those situations. So they basically gave me these like classroom situations where you're teaching with your co-teacher and this situation happens with you and your co-teacher, and how would you react in that situation? How would you approach your co-teacher in that situation? And I think that was a really good thing to do. It really prepares you for the different personalities that you're going to face when you're in Korea and you have to teach with different co-teachers, because sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 co-teachers, sometimes you'll have like 7 or 8 co-teachers, and sometimes you guys will clash. I'm telling you, 100% it will happen, guys. Sometimes you will teach with your co-teacher and your personalities are just not suited to one another. You will disagree over teaching methods. So you need to know, you need to learn how you're going to cope in that situation and how you're going to approach that situation, how you're going to approach your co-teacher. And EPIK definitely wants to see how you're going to handle that situation. The last thing is if they ask about tattoos. I have 2 tattoos, one over here and one on my neck. And my suggestion to you is just tell the truth. I don't know why people always ask if they must lie about this. Guys, don't lie. Just tell the truth. Why you wanna lie and then give yourself sleepless nights? Just tell the truth and then at least you can have a peaceful sleep that night. So in your application, they ask you to like describe your tattoo, even send pictures of your tattoo, describe the location of it, the size, whatever. But I will say that this does depend on your school. Sometimes you will land up at a school where they do have a problem and it's just not going to be allowed, or you will land up at a school where they're just okay with it. As long as you can cover it up, it should not be a problem. That's about it, hey? After that, it's stage 3. And stage 3 is just basically the interviewer will tell you the next few steps. If your interview is successful, the next few steps from there, and that's stage 3 done. Please remember that obviously your questions can differ from what I told you today depending on your interviewer. So don't get angry with me if what I told you does not come up in your interview. Okay. My last words of advice: speak clearly. Don't make grammatical errors. I don't know if you know this, but you're applying to be an English teacher, so this one's pretty important. Look presentable for your interview and not like a rat's breakfast. When you get to Korea, you'll realize just how important appearance really is. Show an interest in Korea and EPIK. This is just like any other interview. Let's say you were interviewing for another company. I'm pretty sure you would research the ish out of that company before attending that interview. This is exactly the same. Go and read EPIK's website. Show them in the interview that you are not only knowledgeable about Korea, but also EPIK, the company that you're going to be working for in Korea. And of course, show an interest in children, please. And don't forget to smile. Please don't come to that interview looking like bloody Professor Snape. Yeah, that's about it. If you're having this interview in the near future, good luck. I'm holding thumbs for you. I really hope this has helped. If you're coming over in August, I know that you're gonna have the time of your life. I wish you all the luck with your interview. Ace it, and I will see you over here in August. If you have any more cues, leave it down in the comments below. Don't forget, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a like. Anyway, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to join my channel and become a member. And don't forget that when you do join and become a member, for the next 6 months, all proceeds go towards Corona efforts in South Africa. And I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.